Hello everyone, welcome to the United Fan Zone. We have with us two wonderful people in Amrit and Trishal, and we all are going to join for what is going to be our first podcast. And yes, I am doing good. Amrit and Trishal, how are you guys doing? This is not normal times, as we all know, we are all stuck in our homes. And so, how's life?
Yeah. It was a bit difficult. Like everything was a bit strange for us. Everything was new, and we had to be
Okay,
like literally stuck inside for some time. But it's better now.
that's cool.
I'm here in Sydney at the moment, so it's a bit better here. So we're just recovering now. People are starting to come out, and slowly but surely we're getting back to the normal. From the new norm, we are getting back to what we are used to. But yeah, it will take some time, but it's a bit better here. And how is everything there, Amrit?
Yeah, it's okay. Mostly very sunny weather and little bit of rain, but overall, I think it's getting better slowly. People have started going out here. I see them roaming around a lot. I think going on the beaches and all. So I don't know how it's gonna be in future, but at the moment, it looks better than how it was a couple of months ago. But then football is back, and then that's what we need to enjoy. So nothing else can make me really happy.
Amrit,
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
beach
indeed.
picture in Bournemouth was hilarious. You know, I mean, come on, this is not the new normal. That we talk about. There were thousands of
yeah,
people, I guess, in that beach, and that's not what's supposed to happen.
yeah. Major incident. I don't know what people think, how they think they can do that. If I was there, just near me, and if there are a couple of people, you know, not giving me personal space, I'll feel that I can't be there at all. So I wonder how people are there so close to each other. uh, I don't know. So it's probably they're missing some common sense because of a lot of heat and the frustration. But yeah, that's one thing which I think is not so good.
Another thing that shouldn't have happened is we shouldn't have resumed the league. What happened in Liverpool day before? Yeah, I think yes, day before yesterday shouldn't have happened. Yeah, in the streets, people in the streets.
Well, that's Scousers for you. So they haven't got much sense, honestly. So I
That's a
don't I don't
celebration they have
expect
been
anything
waiting
different.
for 30 years. That was supposed
Well,
to be a great one.
but not at the cost of human lives. That I don't know how many lives will be lost. So I don't know. If I was there, I know they must be really happy. Obviously, long time coming. They might not have expected that they will win, considering what all has happened in this season. And I thought actually the season actually might be delayed or postponed or cancelled altogether. That would have made me much happy. But then now I think I can't expect anything else from the Scousers.
Exactly, exactly. So Trishal, where have you been hiding since last 2 days?
We've tried to stay away from Twitter and everything because we've some of our old tweets and posts doesn't really help. I remember I had one when I believe it was a recent one when Madrid had won the final Champions League final, and it went like for them it was like YNWA, and I told like you will never win anything. That didn't quite go to plan, and that just came back at me. So I was trying to stay away from everything, but can't do anything else. They've been waiting for that, and that's how it goes. It will be there for some more time, and I've tried my best to put all the other things on top and take this away from all the feeds and everything, but I failed. So I'll stay away from Twitter and everything for a few days, and probably will get back once everything settles down. And I
Well, I
think it will
think
take
this
some
is
time.
the first and last Premier League they might have in 30 more years, I guess.
I
I
hope
think
so. I
they
hope
should they
so.
should cherish this moment. I think they will not see
Exactly.
this trophy again in 30 years. So I think I think they deserve it maybe, but then we'll be back. We'll be back, and we'll stay at the top for another 20-25 years. You see, I'm
They
very
have
hopeful on that.
they
Hopefully,
they have won the league
hopefully.
in June. I don't think any team in the history of Premier League has won it so late. They have won the league in a year when we had to make changes just to make them win. We had to introduce water breaks. We had to introduce five substitutions just to make the Scousers wins, just because it's 30 years they haven't. And then, they will always be, they will always
Yeah.
remember this moment because they have to win it. They won it without
But it's
any fans there celebrating with them. Yeah, that's the best
Yeah,
it's
feeling.
good.
always
I mean,
nice to have
see,
that in between,
see,
right?
that's the karma for you.
We've had Blackburn winning it 93, then we've had Leicester pop up with one, and now Liverpool. So
Yes,
it's fun if we have some teams popping in between with one of their own, other than the usual suspects. So we'll let them have it this time, and hopefully we'll be back and we'll get it back with us.
Yeah, they're just at par with Leicester, isn't it? One dramatic, nice season, and then away they go out of the top spot. So yeah, I guess sometimes upsets happen. This is one more.
yes, yes. So, guys, football's back. It's a wonderful feeling, isn't it? You know, I love the moment. I love every football matches. Although if Manchester United was not playing, I wouldn't have been so interested because there's no feeling like watching your own team play. So, how is it? How do you guys feel? S- Sitting in our homes watching matches. I don't think there's a better feeling than this.
Yeah, I think especially in UK, mostly you don't see 3 o'clock kickoff matches. It's a good thing for obviously the fans going to the ground on the Saturdays. 3 o'clock, they must be sad. But then many of the others who were probably not able to watch 3 o'clock kickoffs in UK, they might actually be happy watching their teams playing on telly. So I know, it feels very good, and having all the matches on television is also a good thing because not all people can go to the ground and don't have the season tickets. So yeah, I think I'm one of those people. I don't have season tickets because I can't go every week. So yeah, I guess that's a good thing. Yeah, it's good to see Manchester United play again. Especially we know that the way we smashed Sheffield and Pogba and Bruno combo. That's like, that makes me wonder when the next match is coming, and I'm waiting for the next
Exactly.
match.
Trishal, how's it in Australia?
And guys, do you think that like the break came at the wrong time for us? Probably we were building up something and it was looking really good for us, and then it came in because I remember we were supposed to play Tottenham and they didn't have a proper striker fit and ready to go. So
Yeah,
and
I
they
think
were in
that
some
match
trouble,
was,
and also we were in some really good form, right? We were
yes,
leading
that
City and we
form,
are coming off a
that
few good results.
that match probably was something that was to our disadvantage. But having Rashford and Pogba back, you can't complain much about that. Yeah. So maybe, yeah, Tottenham got a few players back. That was the only disadvantage. If we would have played this match before the break, we would have smashed Tottenham out of that round. That's for sure.
Yeah, I
But
think
that's,
Sissoko made a big difference, I would
yes,
say. Other
exactly.
than
Yeah.
that, I'm not worried about Kane and
Yeah,
others.
yeah,
I don't
exactly.
care about others. Sissoko was a big deal for us. We had to deal with his physicality. He was a machine there. But then, yeah, I think we need to play against the best teams. We don't need to worry about who's there, who's not there. We need to beat the best. And for that, I won't have any complaints because if we have to get better, we can't be complacent thinking, oh, some players of other team are back. I would want my team personally to be geared up for these matches, no matter what the opposition looks like. So, yeah, not for me.
But
Okay.
watching at that match, I think it was a bit expected, right? We expected few of them to
Yes,
be rusty, especially the
exactly.
likes of Rashford and all. They're coming back after a long break, and it was a bit expected. But
But I didn't
I think we
expect.
Yeah.
should have won that one. I think the general feeling was that we dropped 2 points. I know
Yes.
Tottenham and the other side would be like they would be happy with 1 point, and I'm actually so glad that we feel the other way now. Like we have
Exactly,
been
exactly.
Yeah,
settling
That is
on
what I
you're
was
points
right.
and
You're
talking with
finishing
absolutely
Amrit.
right.
goals because
The
Yeah.
same thing I was talking with
yeah,
Amrit.
because I remember if we had I think it was Everton or Southampton something like that, and we had a draw, and most of us ended up thinking it was a draw, but it was a good Everton side and it's a good draw. So I'm actually glad that we're back to the feeling where we are now feeling like we are starting to lose points when we draw the games, and good performances are also coming up. So it's a good time to be in at the moment. Though Scousers have the trophy, from our side, I think it's looking a bit better from our perspective.
Yeah, that 30 minutes from Paul Pogba in the first match was just out of the world. Just shows how much we have missed him all the season. We literally had to do without him the whole season. If there was a Pogba there
Exactly.
playing for us in the season, we would completely be minimum of 10 points ahead of what we are right now. That's easy 10 points, I would say.
Well,
So,
I think before Bruno, Pogba might have been much different than after Bruno, because
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
they have made
But
a bond. I think I was reading the other day, he was the one who went to Bruno asking him where do you want to live, and
yes, yes.
I think he was the one who went to Bruno, to be honest. Uh, that's a good thing to see, because they're building the relationship. The right players are building the relationship, and Pogba with Bruno, with his leadership skills, and you know they all being in the midfield, that makes a huge difference. We haven't seen this Pogba from from a long time. I think this is the Pogba we always wanted, and I think finally we might be getting there. And who knows, he might actually want to stay and get his agent to shut up finally. Although I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but let's see how this goes. It's new for us, and it's looking
But to
really
be
good.
honest, I'll be very surprised if he moves on this transfer window. I'll be very surprised if he moves on. I believe he will be here at least for next season. I don't see him moving out. And also, another thing was that the attachment is back. I think between the fans and the players. I think
Yes,
we've had
yes,
situations where even within us we had the divides. We had the group that liked Lukaku. We had the ones who were against Lukaku, even though the Pogba camp is a bit split up. But that link is back, I think, between the players and the fans. Like, we understand what they're trying to do, and we are enjoying what they are trying to do. And I think that's a big deal as well. And that's a
exactly.
good thing.
And
So there are lots
yeah,
of
yeah. And you
positive
can
which
see that
people people
yes.
conveniently are forgetting.
Yeah, and you can see that completely in that Manchester derby that we played. The way the crowd was that night, that was like hilarious. When McTominay scored that goal, it was just like the best moment, the moments we had under Sir Alex Ferguson. Even after the match, you could see the commentators there, people who have played in that particular ground saying they haven't witnessed anything like that before. So there's a feeling that everyone's coming together because they are seeing that we are moving in a right direction. We are just not about buying players with huge wages and huge salaries. It's like we are buying players that suit our characteristics, suit the Manchester United philosophy, and the players that we are signing now are not only just based on talent, it's also character, it's the leadership. Each and every player that we have signed, even Daniel James, I would say, a 21-year-old guy coming from Swansea, it's very difficult to move from a championship team to a Premier League, one of the biggest club in the world, and then starting the match on the first day and then scoring the goal, even with what happened with his father. So I would say Ole, I don't know how experienced he is because I haven't seen him Molde coaching the players, but what he is doing here is something I didn't expect him to do. He is doing a great job with, according to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and not
I
only just the
totally agree.
signings, mate. I think the whole squad. I think we can see improvements. Literally, I think we can point out to many players, Lingard or Rashford or Martial. There is so much improvement under Ole and his team that we are not talking about those things. To be honest, we have focused on the new signings coming in. We've talked about Bruno and we've talked about Maguire and all this stuff. But we haven't mentioned about the players who have actually improved this season. Like
Yes,
Fred
yes.
before the break, Fred and McTominay, they were playing a different level of football than what we saw from them
I would
probably
say even
in the
Martial,
preseason.
even Luke Shaw, if you see,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
there's a completely different Luke Shaw right now. Lindelof is playing
yeah,
better. I think, yeah, that is what a coach
yeah.
should be. When you see BT, when I used to see Sky Sports, Jamie Carragher always used to mention that do you see any players improving in Manchester United over the previous 6 years, 7 years? Everyone who has to come to the club has either been the same or they have regressed. But over the last year or a half, I would say, I see improvement all over the pitch. Each and every player you take out, Rashford is having his best season. Marshall is having his best season right now. Greenwood's development has been so carefully, taken into action. So there's sign everywhere. I don't know the people who say Oli shouldn't be there. I don't agree what they see or what they believe, and that's completely weird and out of.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a strong. I mean, all those Ole outers, they were doubting Ole's credentials. Yeah, they're still not so great. I know he hasn't coached very big teams, but I think he means good for Man United, and That's what matters. He will do the best for the club. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, he may not be qualified, but at the end of the day, he will want the best for the club. So I have no doubt. I would wish that he can get our team back to the top, challenging for the title and winning them continuously like Sir Alex did. I would love to see that, but if it doesn't happen, then even in that case, I know that he will be taking us upwards than downwards like Mourinho did or the other managers did.
Yeah, Amrit. So
Yeah,
exactly. So this is what I think we've had a discussion about this earlier as well, because even if Ola is not the guy who is going to bring us the title, I hope he does. But even if he is in, whoever is coming in after this will have a much better squad and resources to work with than what he had. So that is something which takes some time and which something he has built, and we can see the results even now itself. So hopefully things will improve, and we'll see
Yeah,
how it goes.
totally agree. The philosophy of just popping the ball to Lukaku and wait for him to do a touch and then we scoring, that's gone. I don't I don't see that thing happening anymore. It was funny to watch. We were looking like championship side. Just hit the ball to the target man and try to score goals from
exactly.
one touch or the other. It was horrible to watch. And I used to think we'll trust Mourinho, but then come on, this is so much better. You see the team playing fluid football. One touch, the touch from Bruno the other day, back heel. He touched, and the third goal actually. That was because of his magic. That's those one touch football and those things. This is what Man United is all about. Not just boring football, trying to just hold what we've got. No, we don't want to watch that. None of the Man United fans. It used to hurt me so much watching my team play like that. But
Exactly.
it's so much
The
better.
the Champions League night that we had in Sevilla, for example, yeah, that was one of the most horrible nights I have ever seen. We go into Sevilla and we lost theirs in the Champions League. I think it was round of 16, I guess, and we played horrible football. But under Ole, you will never see that. You will never see us not putting in good performances. There might be times when we would
And
not be able to win it, but we'll always put in performances.
and
And
I don't know about you guys, but honestly, Bruno has been a lot better than what I actually think, because
exactly, same
you know
here.
how it goes. Every time we go to YouTube and we see those compilation videos and everything, every player looks good in that.
Exactly.
Literally every player looks good in YouTube. But when he shows up at the end, then you might be thinking like, oh, what's missing here? But
That's what
Bruno, I must say, I must
leaders
admit,
can
right
do.
from the first game, obviously, I think from that first game he played, and from the moment he stepped out, he has looked confident. I think that's the one of the key features that I felt. He's looked confident. He hasn't been fazed by anything. He's confident. He knows what he's good at, and he knows what he can do. And I think that's a big feature to have in any player.
Well, that's what a leader can bring on the pitch. He's a leader. I mean, we've got more leaders now than we had. I don't think we had any leaders a couple of years back. You see, Bruno is a born leader. Maguire is a good leader, and all these players. McTominay, I think, has got good leadership skills, and he charges up people. Even Rashford, I think, is so charged up all the time. So we have the characters in the team. I think we may need one or two more, but then we are so much better because of characters. They communicate with the whole group, and they put all the pieces together, make sure the team works as a unit rather than individuals. We were individually maybe brilliant. We had Sanchez, we had Lukaku. They're not bad players, they're good players, but then you have to get them playing together as a team, not individually. That's what lagged earlier, and then that's what is better now.
Exactly.
Yep.
Manchester United looks so much better right now, and being a fan is about going through the good days, standing by the team during the bad days, hoping that we will be back again. And by the signs of it, it looks like we are going to be back again. I think just the fixtures that we have for this season, I think each one of them is a winnable fixture. I don't think we should lose any point anywhere down the line. Trishal, Amrit, what do you think about it? I think we are going to go unbeaten. We are 13 unbeaten right now. I don't know what it will be when the season ends.
If Bruno plays, I think we'll be unbeaten. That's his record until now, unbeaten Bruno. I think that's quite possible with the fixtures we've got. But we have to keep the consistency. Let's not get overcharged up and overconfident. You never know what what can go wrong in a team. I used to see Mourinho teams play one game really well, and then the next game, all of a sudden, everything they did in the last match was like, they play trash football. But I think now we don't see that. We see that consistency, we see that hunger, and that's what we need to have. So if we
Yeah, and
have
also
that, we'll be good.
I think we have a much better idea now. I think we wanted little. We were a bit too dependent on counter-attacking football. We needed teams to attack us, to have some space in between, so that Rashford and James can have a run. But I think now we are creating more, like we have more dimensions to our attack. I think maybe probably because Bruno is back and Pogba is back. I think we have a bit more dimension coming through rather than just running in behind and using the counter-attacking football. As we saw against Sheffield, they were properly staying back and they were not giving us much of a space, but we literally worked through them like so many times. Even in that first half when Rashford missed those two chances, we literally carved them open when they were sitting back and they were not giving us much space. So I think that's another good thing that I've seen with this team recently.
That's always going to happen, I think, when you've got Pogba and Bruno playing together. I don't, you know what? Right now, if we add a quality defensive midfielder, I won't say Matic is bad. Matic has been playing the best football that I have seen him play his whole life in the last 3 or 4 months, maybe in 2020. But I don't think Matic can do it every match. He is a very good player if you play him. I mean, once every 3 match or every 2 match, because he doesn't have the legs anymore. So maybe he needs a little rest, be charged up to be at his best. If we can add a central defensive midfielder, I guess, with a world class like Saul Niguez, maybe I think we'll have the best midfield in the whole world, and not just Premier League.
Yeah, I agree with that one because uh, we have seen few people when they're talking about we got Bruno now, the midfield is sorted now. Let's look at our wingers, but I think we need depth literally in every position. As the City squad, as we've seen, like they can put up 2-3 teams every day, different teams, and they can still win games. That's the
Exactly.
depth that they have in their squad. That is something which we are still working on, and that is still something that we are a bit short, at least in a few departments. So we need to strengthen the depth, and yeah, of course, Matic. I don't see him. To be honest, yeah, he has looked good after the break, and uh, I think the break has done him really good. I think he's come back fresh, and he's looked really compact, and he's looked much better this time. But I don't think he has too many seasons in him. So either we have to work with McTominay or Fred to fit into that role, mold them in such a way that they fit into that role, or we have to find someone who is more naturally built to that role. Because I see every time Fred plays, he's a bit more attacking mindset. Like he
Yeah, yeah,
needs to
yeah.
be involved in the game. He can't just
Yes. I
Yeah,
sit
think
back
Fred
and
is
play
more
the
of a
back.
number 8, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, Amrit.
I agree as well. I think we need a central defensive midfielder, but we also need a centre back, I feel, because Lindelof, I don't know. Sometimes I'm not so sure about him. He doesn't look. He's been all right. I'm not gonna say anything bad about him, but I would like to see another centre back, a world class centre back. We need one more definitely. Bai is there, he's been injury prone, but we need to get rid of Jones and we need to get another nice centre back who can give that protection, who can be that leader again along with side Maguire, and then do all those nice things. So yeah, for me, centre back is another thing we need to strengthen.
I think if we have another centre back, I won't be surprised if he go back to a three at the back formation, because I think
Yes.
we tried that few times. Even when against Tottenham and we are pushing at the end, I think he went for a back three. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
if he has one more, I think we've been linked with a few of them, but we get in linked with almost all the players when the window is open, so we can't
You
go
know,
too much into that one. But I think if he gets one more, I won't be surprised if we go back to a back three and we see something different.
the only problem, Trishal and Amrit, I see here is if we are talking about signing another world class centre back, then I think there's only one player you're talking about, and that's Koulibaly, maybe, who is a world class signing. Other than that, I see everyone on the same zone that maybe Lindelof is. So if you
No,
also talk, if you can go for
I
Koulibaly or yeah, Amrit.
yeah, I don't think that is true, Abhishek. I mean, look at Leicester, what they did. They sold us Maguire. I mean,
Yeah,
was a reasonable deal, I would say. But they got Soyuncu in. He's not been bad. He's been decent. The way he's been
Yeah,
playing, he looks
but when
like he's
but
been
when you
playing Premier
say
League from such a long time.
yeah, but when you say decent, Lindelof is decent as well.
Well, yeah, well, I'm
The,
not
the on-
saying I
yeah.
know that at the moment, but
The problem is, even if you go
surely
to Leipzig and buy Upamecano, for example, who is regarded as one of the brilliant upcoming centre backs, who is going to be a world class centre back, we are not sure about him because how he will perform in the Premier League and how he's going to deal with the injuries, because he has been having injuries lately. You talk about De Ligt there; he has been horrible since he has been in Juventus. So the
And
problem,
I would also think Abhishek backing Upamecano and backing Tuanzebe would almost be similar, because I think they're in a
exactly,
similar age
exactly.
group.
And Trishal, I will go ahead and I will say, leave Tuanzebe. He is injury prone. Teden Mengi is then the coming product,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
who is a world class, who is going to be a world class. That's what the scouts are saying. That's what our academy is saying. So I mean, if you go to the market and you buy a world class centre back, they will not come cheap. They will cost you more than 80 million. That's for sure. You're not going to get a world class
And
player.
add a 10 to that when we are going
Exactly,
to
for when Manchester United are interested. So I would think if you go for a world class signing in the centre back position, you are going to spend 100 million for a player who might be at the age of 27, 28. Again, doesn't make much sense for me. I would better have a player like Teden Mengi coming in by the time Lindelof and Bai can play alongside Maguire, and Teden Mengi slowly is developed just the way Greenwood is, and just give him a time so that we can have him another for 10 years. Because if we purchase a good centre back, for example Upamecano, he is 24, that means Teden Mengi is never going to get a game for United, and we are going to again spoil the talent there. Tuanzebe's career is literally being wasted. So I would be a little critical about signing another centre back, because centre backs usually don't pan out the way you always want them to. Maguire was good because we knew him; he was a Premier League player, so there was not much doubt when you were buying him. But
But I mean, Abhishek, one more thing: we never had a shortage of centre backs in any of the time in any of the previous managers. We have had so many. I mean, sometimes it's difficult to choose, but then injury and reliability are two things we have had problems with. Rojo, I don't remember how many matches he's played and how many he's been out. I think I've seen him playing 10% of the matches, 90% he's been injured. Why the hell do you keep him?
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to
And I
get
would
rid
say,
of players.
I would say the same for Bai as well, and I would say the same for Tuanzebe has been in the last couple of years quite error prone. That's a bad luck, I think. But when you have
I think
injuries,
Bai is a bit frustrating, to be honest, because when he
yeah,
plays, he looks so good. Like, he literally is a beast when he's out
amazing,
there
amazing
defending.
man.
He just owns that place. I think,
He dribbles in his
like
own
the
box.
Chelsea game, yeah,
He dribbles in his own box, man.
yeah, and then he'll be out for another 5 games. That
Exactly.
is so frustrating to see from him.
I think if Bai was a player who wouldn't get much injured, Solskjaer would have put him every time beside Maguire, because he is good with headers, the only side that Lindelof lacks in. He has quite a pace to cover Maguire as well, and he is very good with his tackles as well, I would say, interceptions and all those kind of things. I don't see
And I
any
think it's a
reason.
bit about the way he plays. I think
Yeah, yeah,
the way he goes in, I think he's about to get injured, because
exactly,
he just
exactly,
goes in. He just goes in full out. Like
Ex-
how that is similar to what Rojo does as well.
exactly.
They just don't go for a 50-50 challenge. They just go through you.
Throw in, yeah, exactly. Yeah. If he can cut those part out, and I think we have got a very good player, because the first year Bai was in here, oh my God, he was amazing. We thought he is the solution. It's just the injuries that's been frustrating. Other than that, he is a brilliant player
I
according
think
to me.
more on that. I think Premier League drains you out as well if you
Yeah,
have not got that physicality. I mean, he looked solid, but you never know. Some players cannot always adapt to the Premier League fitness levels the way others do. Like, look at Van Dijk; he never gets injured. He's like a beast. He doesn't even tackle.
he
He
never
just,
goes for a
like
tackle.
a
Yeah,
yeah. He's a giant. He just stands and makes sure he comes in your way. That's what we need. We need the defenders who are calm, composed, and do their job without even a need of tackling. So yeah, I don't know about the Bai
And
future,
talking
but
about the defense, who do you guys see as our number one next season?
that's a good question. I would still, I would still say I will go with David De Gea for maybe one more season, maybe one more, and then get Henderson in, because as Ole said in the press conference, I completely agreed with him when he said it's a completely different prospect playing for Sheffield United. with literally no pressure, and then coming back and being Manchester United number one. That's a completely different thing, which you are never.
But I expect him to be I expect him to be England's number one, and it will be crazy. Like we'll be having Spain's number one, England's number one,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Argentina's number one.
Number one.
That is some one hell of a lineup for a
That's
goalkeeper.
that's the best position that we have. We don't need any replacement, any player coming in, going out in there. But I think even if we don't loan Dean Henderson for next season, I don't know. Amrit, we'll come to you. I don't know what you guys think
Well,
about it,
I
but
have
I
to.
think you have to give him a chance next season to at least be our goalkeeper for the cups, for the cup games and games where he can deputize David De Gea, so that he gets to know how it feels playing in front of 75,000 fans. Because one mistake and people will get onto his back. That's how fickle we are. That's the pressure of Manchester United goalkeeper.
I have to refuse with Rizal because we don't have Spain number one anymore. It's Kepa.
It's
Let's be
not.
honest.
I don't think
He's
so. It is.
yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
has played
well,
for them for 3-4 games. I agree, but because that he was
yeah.
going through a tormentous time with us, but I don't think he is Spain number one.
He has something like the worst save ratio.
Worst save, man. He is the most overrated goalkeeper I have ever seen. Even when Chelsea bought him, there was nothing in the stats to prove he would be a world class goalkeeper. I don't know why they went ahead and bought him. Seriously, ridiculous decision from Chelsea.
I think it's a combination of a bad luck or a lack of run of form of De Gea and Kepa doing okay. So when the Spain managers look at the goalkeepers, they think Kepa is a good choice, and that's why he's been brought in. But only time will tell. I think if De Gea doesn't play good for United for some more time, I'm sure he's gonna be second choice for Spain. He will keep staying as second choice for Spain if he doesn't improve, and he has to do himself a favor and get all those mistakes out of his game. I mean, this is the right time. Otherwise, I think Solskjaer has shown that he's got a side which can be not cruel, I would say, but he makes those calls which other managers never used to make. He can get rid of plays where needed, and he's shown that face to us, and we know that he can do it. So I think that's a good thing to have, good thing for a manager to have, because the players should know that they have to perform their best if they want to stay in the team. Otherwise, you will get complacent and then keep making mistakes. So I think that's good. I hope Solskjaer will make the right call.
I think that Tottenham game was a good indication about De Gea, because we were going on about. I remember that watching that game, and we were going on about that goal, about that Tottenham's first goal, and we were just talking about how disappointing it was. It was straight at him. He should have done better. Then he comes up with that save to stop
Exactly.
Son's header.
It was 5 minutes
And we're like,
after that.
Okay,
No.
okay.
That was a simple one, Tracer. No,
It wasn't a simple
he's
one.
expected to
Namrata.
make those. No, it was simple. It's his job to do that. I mean, I don't. If he
Solskjaer
missed
came
that
out.
one,
Solskjaer came out and said that you just focus on that goal when he conceded. Maybe he could have done something better with that. But 5 minutes later, he saved the game for us.
well,
that was
I don't believe that. He has to. Look. He's the manager of Man United. He's got the job to make sure the players stay motivated. But that doesn't mean we can't. As fans, we have to look at those saves, and that was not one of the best saves we've seen from him. It's business as usual for De Gea. That if he doesn't
Yeah,
make
but
that save,
that's another thing. I think are we getting a bit carried away, or are we having too much of what he can do in our head while making this decision? Because we know how good he can be. So is it a part of us telling like he can reach that level and he is that good? So let's keep him for some more time. So my only concern with him is that I still do want him to be the number one, but I just wonder if ever any issues come up there, it might be because if we give him too much time thinking about how good he is and how good he can be. We have those memories and we know what he can do. So I think probably the delay in the decision might come up with that aspect. I'm not sure about what you guys think of it, but I do think that plays a factor when eventually we'll have to make a decision at some point.
Yeah.
Coming in probably in a couple of seasons, we'll have to make a decision, because I don't think Dean Henderson would be happy going out on loan every season.
Yes.
with,
Agreed.
his
but it's good to know, Trishal, that we've got another option. So
Yep.
we have no shortage of goalkeepers at the moment. We've got the best ones available. So I'm sure we'll get it right. Ole will get it right. I hope so.
Yeah, I think Trishal, this is just a moment of time. I think David has one more season in him, and if he still keeps making those mistakes, I don't think the manager will be hesitant to call in Dean Henderson to be the number one. I don't think that's going to happen because you can live so much with your history, with what you have done with the club, but ultimately you will have to, be a realist and accept that DK is never going to happen. But
And
I
coming to that, Steven, do you think we should? We know that Romero plays all the cup games for us. Do you think that we should give him more cup games just to build up that confidence and get a few clean sheets under his belt?
No, that won't be good for David De Gea's ego.
yeah
I
yeah
think,
exactly.
as per the contract, come on, you have to tell the players what you expect them to be in the club. So if you do that, then it kind of
I don't
demands
think
what
that's
he
gonna
does.
happen.
So
I don't think
yeah,
so. That's never gonna
that
happen.
won't be
Till
possible.
you
I
know,
think no.
because why I think that's not gonna happen is when you see Solskjaer coming out. Solskjaer is not a guy who will come out and say anything just for the sake of saying. He is not one of those managers. Because when he comes in and say, I still think David De Gea is one of the best because he sees him in the training. That is what he said in the press conference. I see him in the training every day. He works hard. Yes, mistakes happens with every goalkeeper. Mistake happen, but the position of the goalkeeping is so delicate that even if you make some 15 awesome saves and do one mistake, people's gonna remember that one mistake, and that will always be highlighted in front of you. And obviously, we don't
But
expect that from David. That's for sure. I'm not saying that we should start accepting that as a standard for our goalkeeper. I'm not saying that, but
yeah,
I'm just
I think yeah, Abhishek. Sorry, one more thing. I mean, if you look at the earlier times when he didn't have the contract, we were thinking that it is the contract that's playing on his mind and doing, that's why he's making the mistakes. Many of the other uh, pundits were also saying the same thing, but he's got that sorted now. So I don't see why he shouldn't be improving. And if
yeah, exactly.
you know, yeah, if he doesn't, I think Solskjaer will take care of it. Believe me.
Yeah, yeah, that's for
Shall
sure.
we shall
Yeah,
we talk about the right wing once?
yeah, exactly. The right wing. That's it. I still think I was talking with Amrit today, and he was. I will say something like he was like, we should not spend 100 million on Sancho. I disagree on that because even if you are going to buy someone else, maybe, or because they are going to cost you 40, 50 for sure in this market, nothing's come cheaper. But I think if you buy a Sancho, you are getting someone for minimum of 10 years, maybe, or even if he doesn't stay for 10 years and goes from another to another club in 4 or 5 years time, we are going to get the value for him. So I think having a Sancho alongside Rashford and Martial is going to be the most deadly attack in the whole of Europe. I think so. That's my
Yeah,
thinking.
And I
What
but
do
think
you
we
guys
we,
think?
we, we do we do miss. I think Sancho is more of a traditional winger,
Yeah,
and that is something
exactly.
which we currently lack. Yeah, I know James probably will fall into that one, but even if we are playing Greenwood or we know Rashford how it goes from the
Yeah,
left
yeah,
side, so we have more people who are coming in, and I think Sancho would probably be a good signing because we saw that game against I think against Sheffield when Greenwood was playing. I think most of the time Van Bissaka was there and there
exactly.
was no like people were inside him and we don't have much people to hold the width. I think we still do need a proper winger, and when I do believe he's really good, and when such a player comes up and if he's available and if we can do that, I think uh,
And you know what,
we
this
should
is
we should
Trishal
be
and
good.
Amrit, one thing, it's just not the kind of goals he scores. He has the pace, he has everything, and he has something which our players don't have, and that is he can pass the ball at being in that speed. He has such good passing range, such good passing skills. He has so
he's
many
got a
assists
vision.
in his name. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is
He,
what I think even Rashford lacks a little bit because he is very good with the dribbles, he's very good with taking on the man and scoring goals. But that end pass that needs to be there is a little lacking with Rashford as well, I think, which Sancho is really good at.
well, yeah, I mean, but you've got to make the call to keep Greenwood. Then, I mean, how do you get another striker, another experienced striker, if Igalo goes next season, and then you are going for another good striker? I don't know how the Greenwood stays in the team. I mean, he can still be playing one or two matches here and there, but then it will he'll not get enough time to play, and then that will probably hamper his development as well. So that's a fine balance which is there, and that needs to be taken care as well. So you've got to keep that in mind.
I think Amrit, for that, see, even if we sign a Sancho, or even if you want to sign a striker, I don't think you need a striker, to be frank. I think we are fine with Igalo or players like that age who can come in, chip in, do something, because I think Martial is there for a long run. I think if you play Rashford in the left side, Daniel James can play, instead of him when he needs a rest. The same can happen when Sancho needs a rest. You can play a Mason Greenwood there, or if, for example, Martial needs rest, you can play Igalo or whoever you sign, as a backup for Martial. You can play there. So I think we will do good, but we need to sort that right wing, guys. What do you think, Vishal?
Yeah, of course, of course. I think from what I've seen or what I've read, I think it's we are very close to that one. But we know how these deals go. I'm still waiting for that Schneider news. He like signed for us 20, 30 times, but never
Exactly.
arrived.
I
So
think
I hope it's not
one
something like
one
that.
of the reasons we didn't
Abhishek, I'm
go for
not.
Werner is also because we are going to sign Sanchez. Sancho. I feel that's one of the reasons we didn't go for Werner in this transfer market.
No. I mean, I'm not opposed to the fact that we should not sign Sancho, but I don't think we should sign him for 100 million. If you look
Yeah,
at
you're not going to
the
get
other
Amrit, a
teams,
player,
if
a
you,
world-class player, for any less.
I know, but if you look at other teams, the way they have been doing their signings, Chelsea especially, they got Werner, they got I think what's it, Pulisic and other guys. They've not been so costly as Sancho. Yes, Sancho is much better, maybe in terms of what he's achieved and his age at the moment. But then I think we need to
And he's English.
deal better. We need to
That's the
negotiate
main
better.
fact. That's the main fact. He's English. All English players are overrated. If Maguire wasn't English, he was never going for 80.
To be
Exactly.
honest, I don't think his value is gonna come down
Yeah,
anytime soon.
exactly.
I see it as going up only.
I
They'll try to hold him up.
exactly. If we wait for another transfer window, I don't think we can even get him for 90 or 100 that we are talking about right now. I don't think he will be available at that price as well.
Yeah.
And I was more interested about the Grealish story, to be honest,
Oh God.
because I was trying to figure out what the plan is. I don't know if that is off since Bruno has come in, or was it a backup for if Bruno doesn't come in, or if Pogba leaves, or because I haven't heard too much of Grealish recently. So I was wondering what happens there, if are we still in Grealish, or if he comes in like
By the article by David Ornstein and all those people, it seems like Grealish is very much a target for United. But I don't know. There might be a list wherein there might be a Sancho and then a Grealish or maybe a Kai Havertz. So we are on talks with player, but that doesn't mean we sign them. But I think I don't understand when people say we have Pogba, we have Bruno. Why do we need a Grealish? Manchester City have a Silva and De Bruyne playing, and they have in the bench Bernardo Silva and Mahrez and those players. 11 players, world class player is not the only thing we need in the team. We need more players of the same quality. It's not like you replace Bruno and then comes in a Lingard or a Pereira, because that's completely different quality. So you
But
need a
Abhishek, that
Grealish.
what matters is, can you keep the players happy? They staying
That
on the
is the
bench.
manager's job, Amrit. You have
Yeah.
to, because if you're building a winning team, you want to win the Premier League, you want to go
You're
for the
absolutely
Champions
right.
League.
You're absolutely
You
right.
have
But
to.
one rotten apple on the bench, in the team can actually just spoil the whole team. So you have got to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And I don't know how Grealish is personally, but I'm sure if we are going for him, we are going to get the character report as well, because that is one thing which I think all the managers should look at. And I think Ole is very good at that, because all the
Exactly.
signings he's done until now are mostly very down to earth, and plus I think they want to play. That's the main thing. They don't want to go on Instagrams and YouTubes and other things and want to get
Exactly.
all those things.
Yeah.
And Maguires and Van Bissakas there, and even Bruno, I think he's such a good player. But if you look at his social media presence and all, it's just normal, like a normal footballer. He doesn't portray himself to be like superhuman or something else. So that's what we need. We need
Yeah.
people who got good characters and who are team players in the dressing room, not
Exactly.
anyone with arrogance. So we
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
take care of that aspect as well.
Exactly. But Trishal Amrit, don't you think Grealish looks like a United player? I don't think we have any player in our team who has the skills or the what you call the attributes, the major attribute that Grealish has. The way he can
I
carry
think
the ball, among a crowded
I
place. I
agree.
don't think
No, I
anyone in
agree.
our squad can do that.
I,
So
I think he's probably the best technically, maybe after Sancho. I think
yes,
he's one
exactly.
of the best players technically. I've seen, many players are good, but they're not as good technically. They can't do those dribbles and take out the ball, bring it out and do those things. I think Grealish is really good in that aspect.
Exactly.
And I was
Yeah.
more impressed about his swagger. He has that swagger about him.
Exactly. That
He
character I was
needs to
talking about.
he likes to dominate that game. Like he likes to take the responsibility. Probably we know he shoulders most of the things for Villa at the moment, but he likes doing that. Like he has that swagger about him when he steps out to play.
Exactly.
He has his style as
But
well. And
will
I like
will
that
he
about
be? The question is, will he be willing to stay on the bench to let Pogba and Bruno play? Is a big question.
Yeah, but Amrit, see, the thing is, when you sign a player, for example, a Grealish comes in, he plays a match in place of Bruno, and maybe he plays better than him. Who knows? That's the fight that we need in the team. People competing for places. It's not. We are not someone as a fan who wants Bruno to play every match. We want Manchester United to do good every match, and that is if Grealish plays or Bruno plays or Pogba plays, anyone plays. If they play at the best of their potential, that's what we need. I think in a smaller game, you can give Rashford a rest and you can play Grealish in the left wing as well. And you will not find any difference in the quality as well. So
Yeah,
I guess
I agree.
we need players like that. You don't leave player with character. You will get a lot of talented players, but players with characters are very difficult to get. And that's what we have been lacking over the last 7-8 years, I think.
Yeah.
Where do you see us finish this season, Mike?
What, Amrit?
Where do you see us finish this season? Like we have like 7 more games left.
I think we will finish third. That's a bold prediction, but I think we will. Because I was talking with Amrit and I showed him the Leicester fixture. That's horrendous for Leicester team who has come so badly out of the break. They have literally lost 4 points in games that they should have won. They have got, I think, Liverpool or Chelsea or big teams, Tottenham to play. I think it's looking very bad for Leicester, and that's very good sign.
My prediction is fourth, Abhishek. I think Chelsea have won
Amrit, you
against
cannot
Man
do
City
this.
and they are fired up.
You are not going to do this. You said me you don't want us to finish below Chelsea.
I know, but let's be realistic.
Okay.
Let's be realistic, and I think if you see, they must be fired up now. And if we look at their fixtures as well, I think they've got a couple of tough ones as well. But
I think that Everton one is a tough fixture. Anyone who's playing against Everton right now is a tough fixture. The way Carlo Ancelotti is doing.
But if they lost or drew with Man City, I would have said we had a good chance.
Exactly.
But 5 points.
What about you?
Their players fit and doing all the good things and playing like they are. They look like a team who can finish third, and we finishing fourth. But I think fourth is a good one. If we can finish third, obviously I love that. But realistically, I think it will be fourth from me.
Okay. Trishal, what about you?
Just if we finish fourth, like I do see us finishing inside the top 4. I would like to say 3, but I might think we'll have to settle for 4. But just imagine if we get a top 4 and we are secured of a Champions League place, then we have an entire Europa League run. We can just go in there and just win ourselves a trophy. I think I would say who's left there. I don't remember which all teams are left there. I think Inter are still there, and I think
Inter are still there.
Yeah. So that would be a really big confidence booster, and I think the FA Cup would be done by that time also. What is it?
How good would it feel, Trishal, if we get Inter in the semi-final or in the final, and you see Ashley Young and Lukaku, sad and depressed just because they lost the match against us?
We do fancy. To be honest, I really do fancy us against most of the teams.
Yeah, especially against the big boys.
I don't think. Yeah, because I think we, as I mentioned earlier, we do have a few more side to our game than just the direct and just the counter-attacking style. We do have a bit of other dimensions and other styles of players coming in as well. So I'm looking forward to
I think you are jumping the gun, Abhishek. I think Conte is not a bad manager.
No, I didn't say that.
He can get them playing good football.
Pep Guardiola is not a bad manager.
We might actually lose against them
as well. Pep Guardiola is not a bad manager, Amrit. We did defeat them. He did
yeah,
double
I totally
over
agree, Abhishek. but look at the fact that they've not got their main centre back playing for such a long time because of injuries. They've got problems, in the lineups. Sane has not been playing for some time, and yes, you can say there's a very big good depth in their squad, but I don't think they've got their left back sorted properly.
Left back, I think left
Mendy
back
doesn't
is
look.
a problem for them since last 2-3 years, I guess. The same with Sane. I don't think he has played in the couple of years. I mean, he has played hardly
Yeah,
few
yeah.
games in a couple of years.
I agree, but then you cannot say that Man City have been their full strength this season. So that's one. Laporte
We
is one
haven't
of the
been at
big
our full
reasons they're
strength too,
lagging.
Amrit. We haven't had Rashford for
we
3
have missed
months.
our best mid. We
Yeah,
have missed our
we
best
had
midfielder
missed
literally
Paul
for a whole
Pogba for the
season.
whole season. We have missed Martial for 3 months. We haven't had our
True.
best players the whole season.
Yeah, no, we are not comparing because we are rebuilding and they had a good set team. They've got company. Company went last season and then they lost Laporte in the mid or beginning of the season. So that's two set centre backs who were contributing a lot, and it goes a big long way. It's if you look at centre backs, they play a vital role in Pep Guardiola's team. So even if you say that we've beaten them thrice this season, I love that. I obviously am very happy we've done that, but then we have to be prepared for them to be full strength. Maybe they sign a new centre back this summer, and then they'll be back challenging again. So
Exactly,
we have to
and
be prepared for that
yeah,
Man City.
and we would be better with Pogba and Bruno back. We would be better with the Sancho in the right wing, and I think we can still compete.
Yeah, I agree, but we have to be on our toes.
Yeah. Yes. So, guys, just one thing. How many trophies do you see coming to Old Trafford this season?
This season, I see two.
I think we can't have more than two, can we?
Yeah.
No,
So, do you think we're gonna win both of
I
those?
think we are a bit too
Yeah,
late for
why
the
not?
Premier League.
Oh God, just a little bit too late. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with Rishal's point, but yeah, no, I think we can win both of them, Abhishek. We have the capability with our players being there, and we've got a very big squad now. So
Yep.
I think we can do it, but then consistency is the key, and hopefully we can get it if Bruno and everyone stays fit. We should be
And
able to get.
just another thing, guys, just that the whole new schedule of Europe, I think that also works in our favor. We don't have to travel
Yes,
around
exactly.
playing the smaller teams and playing all the teams now. We will be in Lisbon, I believe, and we will be having the games there. So I think that will also play into our hands.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
yeah, I
point,
think you're
Rishabh.
right.
Okay.
Very big
So we are
factor, I
looking.
believe. Yeah.
We are looking good, don't we, guys? We are looking really good. How long has it been since we have looked this good?
Since Sir Alex
Um,
Ferguson. Martial hat trick. I think it's you can see everyone being so happy, and we know that good things are happening. It's so good to see that. It's so good to see him smiling, charged up.
My God, I
Obviously, I
couldn't
would have
believe it.
loved.
I seriously couldn't believe when the camera was showing his face and he was all smiling. I hadn't seen that for 4 years in Old Trafford. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, not that big smile I've ever seen as well. So
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, if we can keep that going, if we can keep that happiness going in the dressing room, we being charged up the way we are playing. Yeah, I mean, I can see we rising again against all the odds, and getting there at the top, challenging and winning the titles as well. Not next year unless something really miraculous happens, but we are on the upward trend, and I think next year I think we should be challenging for the title.
are you guys willing to say Ole is back at the wheel?
Yeah, really. If you cannot say that now, Trijal, you can never say that again. 13 unbeaten, yeah? And it's not the 13 unbeaten that's the best thing. We have scored more than 30 goals in the 13 matches, and we have conceded just 3 goals in those 13 matches. That speaks a lot about from where we were and from where we are right now.
Yeah, the only thing is we can't sing that song anymore because that song contained Sanchez. I think Sanchez's name. Yeah, we need to get a replacement. I think if Sancho comes in next season, we can replace Sanchez with Sancho. We are done. We can sing the song again.
To be honest, until this season, the only place where Fred was properly used was that song.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, to be fair, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's it. I think we are in a good place. Okay, fine.
Okay.
So that's it for us, guys. Our first podcast is officially done. And thanks for watching the videos. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, Amrit. Thanks,
Thank
Vishal.
you.
Thank you.